There came a moment right at the beginning when I started these vlogs for these 8 weeks of Elevate 88, and I'm filming it the day before I'm starting tomorrow. And this was the moment I was sitting here with the sunset, and I realized that this was going to be my most challenging challenge yet. The most drastic self I was going to step into. And it wasn't the fact that I couldn't afford a place to live. It wasn't the fact that most days I was homeless for the last few months and I was just keeping my head afloat. It wasn't the fact that I had to heal all these traumas over the last 33 years. It wasn't the fact that I had felt so alone. That I'd been on a journey of self-discovery and going through an awakening with absolutely nobody in my life, and saying goodbye to every single person I once knew, the old versions of myself, deep dark healing. It wasn't the fact that I spent last Christmas absolutely starving during Christmas, eating a bag of mushed peas, 3 months behind in rent, with no one to talk to or, connect with. And I can honestly say it doesn't matter the amount of darkness I've been through, whether it was, me being bedridden twice with chronic illness, having to start from walking again, feeling the utter chronic pain throughout my body that I was bedridden, feeling like I couldn't walk for 10 minutes without excruciating pain, or feeling the need to faint because it was so painful. All of these trials, over the decades, it wasn't all of these struggles in my mental ailments of, deep dark depression and anxiety and, post-traumatic stress, and it wasn't about all the abuse and things I've had to endure in every area of my life. All of that seems so dark. But, it's so funny that I recognized before doing this 8-week energy movement, Elevate 88, I'm stepping into the hardest chapter I'll ever have to step into. And the funny thing is that what I actually know to be the hardest chapter I'm stepping into is not a chapter of suffering. It's not a chapter of homelessness and sorrow and abuse. The hardest chapter I'm stepping into is the chapter where I give myself permission to live my life, to become the self that I came here to be, to elevate in all areas. And I think that is, the saddest thing of what's been built into society, and what just drives my soul is to help whoever wants guidance with it to get to a better space. Because the saddest thing is what's been built in is that we don't give ourselves permission to live the life we authentically want to. And that is, a statistic of, an older population, when they're on their bed, dying, their last wish was that, they wish they would have lived a life true to themselves and not what was expected, not what was built into society. And I can really feel that. I can really resonate with that. And, I uniquely, like when I went through an awakening and I connected with a medium, and there was, a past person who had passed and had let me know that they loved me, they were proud of me for stepping into change of things, for stepping into growth and letting go of, the things that were no longer serving me, to step into this path of healing, to come to a different space of awareness, of consciousness. You can call it spiritual awakening. It's really just coming back to yourself, understanding that, what's been built into society keeps us restricted. It keeps us stuck in cycles and mindsets and patterns that limit us from stepping into the life we want to be living. And I think that's the craziest thing. So, when I connected with this person, through the medium, they let me know that they only wish that they could have experienced what I had experienced. And what I was experiencing at the time was leaving chronic illness, was pure bliss, was this wholeness within myself that I'd never experienced for 30 years. And what we view as happiness, what we view as the thing that we want, I can tell you, when you're willing to step into the change, when you reach a certain level of your authenticity, you experience this wholeness within yourself that is so much better than words can truly explain. And that's really the message here, is that this is the scariest chapter that I'm ever going to have to face, likely, at this moment. Who's to say? Life's a journey. We're always going to face challenges. But the hardest part, the hardest step that I'm making, and that I know that it's going to be the most challenging, is the one where I give myself permission to live a life that's truly exciting, that's truly full of bliss, that I want to be living, that I'm adventuring, that I'm connecting with people who align with me, that I only accept, relationships that I feel seen and heard, and that I reciprocate that. The life where, yes, I'm going to do the scary thing, to step into the unknown, to become a leader, to, have a voice, to shine really bright, to even just, I'm assuming, since this is prior to me posting these 8 weeks of videos, literally I can just feel the excitement within me of what it's going to bring forth, and it scares the shit out of me. So that is my message, and that is really why I'm doing this and why I'm stepping into this. So I'm posting this at the end of these 8 weeks, so I really hope that it shows true transformation. Because anytime I've taken this into my life, I was unconscious of the fact that, while I always perceived for a long time that I'd always, was just teaching myself, it is, these 8 steps that have truly just transformed my life into a completely different reality. This is, the parts of my life and the changes that I made time and time again that led me out of depression, that led me into alignment with life, that led me into my authenticity, connecting with amazing experiences and people, that led me, out of every struggle I've had, whether it was, financial, whether it was, chronic physical illness, mental, diagnosis, whether it was, a breakup, whether it was, just these dark, states where I was, overweight, and I would just, go ahead to lose 60 pounds in 3 months, not even trying too hard, but it's all a part of our nervous system. It's all a part of energy. It's really a part of coming back to our authenticity and understanding that everything is energy. So everything is going to hold an effect to you, and that goes with your mindset, the beliefs you hold, the patterns that you won't let go that you're holding on to, the environments that maybe you need to shift, let go, change them up. There's energy that holds you to those that's going to affect you. The connections, the relationships, the media, the things you consume, the food, the water, every detail, every single thing in your outer world and your inner world is energy. You're co-creating with the universe, your reality. So I hope that, these 8 weeks really just help to show a shift and true transformation to manifest a different reality that I'm stepping into, because it is always a path unknown that's going to lead us to the most beautiful things. So I hope that these past 8 weeks of videos that I am posting as of tomorrow truly are going to manifest into the most miraculous and beautiful thing, and I hold trust in that. I hold faith in that, and I hope that these 8 weeks help to inspire you to step into the new version of you. And the new version of you is just you coming home to yourself. The new version of you is just letting go of who you're not, who maybe is limiting your self in stepping into the life that you want to be living, that's authentic to you, and that'll help to align you with the abundance, the connections, the experiences, and manifest that into your life. And truly, you just getting to an elevated space, shifting up that energy, just living a life that's truly just so beautiful to you is all I could ever ask for in this life. So, a little emotional, little tear, but keep shining as you're beautiful, authentic you, and know that I love you. Okay. Yay! And then, the second I was done filming that, this came up on my feed. I asked my higher self, Camilla, for a message, and this what came through. That strange feeling when you're about to leave a place, knowing you will never feel the exact moment again, and you feel the need to pause and take it all in, because you're also leaving the person that you are at that very moment in time. And this is why I believe in the power of co-creation.